Yes, that'll be on the next agenda. Kate, do you want to talk about the water bottle ban?
Sure, unless you wanna keep, unless you wanna skip it and do
No.
it next time, okay. I think the reason I asked for this to be on the agenda is that, I know we had decided to wait to really push any of this until we had the fountains in place. But I think what we saw at town meeting was that there are some issues that have come from it kind of being in this influx place of being banned and businesses upholding the ban and a confusion about kind of what that means. And so what I wanted to do, to talk about, to suggest before we really dive into a full-on campaign of pushing this forward, that we need to make sure whether we put out a press release or, well, a press release, maybe get something in the shopper's guide or on our website, that full complete list that, and I'm looking at Jenny because she's here, of all the places that you can go to in Great Barrington to get your bottles filled. Because I think that people, even though there's the decals, I think knowing that somebody could put it on their fridge and really memorize where those places are, I think it's really important for us to get that information out. And we obviously heard about accessibility issues at town meeting. And I talked to the Massachusetts Office for Disabilities. And I think more of the issue, which is constantly an issue, is transportation in South County, and less that they didn't so much have concerns with the ban itself being something. We know that the 3 fountains that are being installed are going to be ADA accessible. So that was their concern, that the fountains themselves would be accessible, and they are, and getting to them will be accessible. So one suggestion that I think maybe we could vote on if it feels right, is to make sure that if we could have some sort of waiver in place where all kind of town buildings, the fire station, the police station, the library, town hall, senior center, have some cases of water on hand for kind of emergency situations. And I don't mean like we're knocking, when we cancel the ban for emergencies, but for individuals that are having a crisis of some sort, that they can send somebody or call and have it brought to them. And then in that, not just saying that that's something we're gonna do in this, but maybe having that be part of our press release that we're putting out, that these are where you can get your bottle filled, and this is what you can do in emergency situations. So it's not a full promotion forward moving with the ban, but at least making sure that this information is attainable to people that are struggling.
So I'll take that as a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second, but I'm not sure what it is.
I think the motion is to, I guess I can, to work with Ellen, I guess, to have a press release and make sure we're making very public that list of places that you can get your bottle filled. And then, I don't know if require is the right word, but have all municipal buildings have a supply of water for individuals that are having
Yeah, can we leave the word all out, just in case 1 or 2 might not be appropriate for?
yeah, sorry, I guess.
Yeah,
But again,
I
and
get the
also
point.
have that part of this press release, part of this announcement.
So just to be clear, the select board previously said that we weren't gonna be enforcing the bottle ban
And we're
until the
still not.
water filling stations were
Right.
installed.
But
So
people
that
are
has to-
still like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and then in addition, we wanna have the information about additional places where people could fill their water.
Fill
Right.
their water and
Yeah,
then make sure
okay.
that people know if they're
Yeah.
having an emergency.
Right, and then in the rules and regulations, the select board could vote to have, water available for, for anyone, or
Somebody needs
for,
it.
that, yeah,
Right.
how
I
does
mean,
it-
one
who
of the-
needs it, or, and
We
then.
can work on that.
Right.
Yeah, because
And
I've struggled with this because I don't think we're gonna ask people to prove that they have a disability. I think if someone goes and asks for it, we're gonna have to
I think
give
one
it
of
to them.
my additional thoughts that I had in the car today, and I don't know if this is a thing that we could do, but we really have 3 businesses in Great Barrington that accept SNAP, and most people with disabilities also receive SNAP benefits, that potentially we could maybe add some sort of, and this again, I don't know, it would have to be something, I'm just sharing a thought, that perhaps those businesses would be able to continue to sell only for SNAP users, and I don't know if that's even remotely possible, but it was just a thought that I had.
So tonight, let's just, if we're going to approve this, let's just approve having water available at
Right.
most of our public buildings. And Alan has sent me an email about communications that I'm not gonna read now, but it's a start of a communications plan, so we need to work with Alan to do that.
Yeah.
A couple things, so if you, instead of moving right into establishing the regulation, you might wanna say, come back with a draft of the regulation to meet the following goals. That way, with the staff, with the town hall staff,
Right.
we can figure out how we're actually gonna do this. It
Sure.
already
Right.
has a lot of feedback and they can think of things that can't be thought of.
Right.
Yeah, I just, I would say the same thing, just more clarification.
Yeah.
Right,
Um,
I guess, I mean, I think that's where we've been stuck, is we've wanted more clarification about all of this, and what
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of is ways that we can create a little bit more clarity
Mhm.
in the meantime.
Mhm.
And so I think being able to really say and broadcast, these are places that you can get your bottle filled, and if you have an emergency, you can go to these
Mhm.
places, or have them come to you with some water,
Mhm.
I think is a really good intermediary
Yeah.
place for us to be.
Mhm. Yeah.
Obviously, people can
And,
disagree with me on
Yeah,
that.
I like that idea. The other thing is Joe Grocknell had done some publicity brochures and stuff over the past, was it winter break when he was here, so
Right.
those could be used. Mark Rahensky did the leadership on the plastic bag ban, previously when he worked at Town Hall, so I'm sure he'll be able to take the lead on it
Yeah.
and run with it in an effective way, so.
Is there a page on the website, on the town website, that addresses the, for people to come in and hear that there's a ban?
We
Is there a
haven't started
page?
the.
That might be a great
education.
thing, because that would be something if I knew
Yeah.
as a tourist, or someone
Yeah, I
coming in
mean,
and say, oh
we
my
had-
goodness, I can't have my water with me, and
Mhm.
what do I do?
No,
But
Yeah,
I'm-
we just waited to delay the implementation of it until the water filling stations are in. I don't have a definitive date for when they're gonna be installed, but I hear that Sean's reported that it's soon, it's
June,
in
yeah.
progress in June. Is that a firm date? I'm not sure.
I'm not in.
Yeah, so we wanted to have those in, and then the rollout of the
Yeah.
rules and regulations.
Yeah.
I guess my point was just if we had a
Yeah.
page on our website that had information saying where we are,
Yeah,
so that
Mhm.
people have questions, this is where we are, this is, when, the day that
Mhm.
we're gonna enforce it, but we're gonna revisit in the summer, just so,
right.
that
right.
there's a place on our website that
Uh-huh.
addresses
Uh-huh.
that and the plastic,
Uh-huh.
bags, I think
Yeah.
that would be a good.
Yeah.
Steve Farina, 87 Railroad. I would just like to add, in your communication, perhaps when you put out a list of the GB on tap locations, perhaps put which locations actually have handicap accessibility, so that not all places are handicap accessible right now, as well as the dates that those water filling stations are available, because they're not year-round.
Right.
So just
That's
in
really
the
helpful.
process
Thank you.
for.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm.
I'll work with Ellen to start on a press release.
Okay, I'm also happy to be
And,
part of
okay,
that.
and you can work with us. I still think because we've already started, many stores have started not to sell water, majority, I think, that it still makes sense to have the bottles of water available in public buildings now, even though we don't have a full plan in place, because we've already implemented some of this, and there are people who are concerned because they can't get bottles of water unless they drive out of town, and that may not be possible for everyone.
Yeah, and I did notice, I was in the triplex this past weekend, I know Biff uses, Richard Stanley has the
Right.
water bottles there, and then that's a big thing for Biff, for the film
Right.
festival, is that they have the water bottles, and they, market that with, Biff on it, so
Right.
that might be something they're gonna have to revisit.
We did talk about that.
Oh, you
yeah,
did?
Yeah, we did. Eileen?
When is the ban actually starting?
So we are gonna revisit it this summer, once the water stations are in, but the technical date is May 1st, 2020. It may be sooner.
And that's the enforcement of the ban.
That's the enforcement. The ban has already started, but that's the
Right.
enforcement, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I have a motion and a second. Do we wanna vote on this, or do we wanna pull this
I
back?
think we need to vote.
I see, I think we do, because we've already,
No, I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's important, because we've already, there are many places, water's not as accessible as it was, the fountains aren't up, so I think it's important to have places where people in need can go get the water.
Okay, so we're voting on the press release or the
No, no.
fact that we'll have bottles?
Just-
The town and
Okay.
the press
The
release
two
kind of
things.
both together.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a motion and a second, roll call. Lee?
Aye.
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 Bill? Aye. Okay. We're gonna go through quickly with a new board, and we need to update our